Hi guys, it's November 2. It's already the month of November. We're heading into the last 2 months of the year, November and December of 2020. So let's discuss. It's an awesome 10x global market update. It's a Monday, and you're watching me, Nikki, you also known as Faces Trader. So let's begin. So for those who aren't in the know, Google said that you do not need college anymore. If you can earn $93,000 after taking just a $300 course, is this the course of higher education? So, of course, in the last few months ago, we have been discussing, and this actually led to our reasons why we would prefer owning Google because rather than owning other large cap tech titans, because we see that Google at about 1.4 to 1.6 was actually a lot of reasons to own, whether you were buying it for the digital advertising that would reopen after the pandemic ends, and which was very much shown in the last Friday earnings report. We said that Alphabet was going to grow not just in the wearables as well. Take note that Apple, it's a fight. It's a fight between Apple and Google. But in our view, the market vastly underpriced Google in the realm of wearables, given that Google had bought Fitbit. And we were saying that Google had Waymo. There's just definitely a lot of applications that Google has that isn't being appreciated by the market. So far, even when the market was tanking last Friday, just wanted to show to you that we have held our winners and we continue to hold our Google. Google, also known as Alphabet. You can actually check back on our Awesome 10x deep dive on Google. It's called The Wearable Wars. Just type it into Awesome 10x, and you'll find a ton of value in our classes, which we give for free. So every Friday we give you free class Friday picks, and our purpose is to help you invest your money and decide well for your money. Awesome 10X wanted you to know that this launching of Google certification programs allows anyone. So you could be a Filipino out here, you cannot even attend college. Let's say you can't afford your LaSalle or your Ateneo. The reality is, if you truly want to be a tech entrepreneur or even work for tech firms like Google, Google will not require you to even study in Ateneo or LaSalle. I'm talking to Filipinos out here, but you could be a non-Filipino. It also says the same thing. After your high school, when you want to launch your programming or whatever, like cybersecurity, let me read to you what Google has done, which is a game changer. July 14, Google launched a new professional certification programs in data analysis, project management, and interface design, UX design, to be hosted on Coursera. Throughout this platform, they're charging a $50 fee or just $600 in a single year. Google will provide 100,000 need-based scholarships to cover the cost, and they will be awarding over $10 million in grants to certain nonprofits that partner with workforce development to women, veterans, and underrepresented Americans. In our own hiring, we will now treat these new career certificates as equivalent of 4-year degree for related roles, said Google. The median annual wage of each career track is a high $93,000 for a project management program. According to Google, 80% of learners that complete this IT support specialist certification will either land a job or earn a raise. Prior experience in higher education are not required as a prerequisite for the courses. Once completed, typically in just 3 to 6 months, participants may have a crack at a job with the tech giant. Ken Walker, Google's Senior Vice President of Corporate Affairs, announced it via Twitter, "In our hiring, we will treat these new career certificates as equivalent of a 4-year degree for related roles." 2 weeks before Google announced this, Microsoft also launched their global initiative to uplift the professional skills of 25 million people per a blog post on June 30. The targets in light of the pandemic are strikingly similar to Google in supporting genuinely inclusive recovery with programs to provide easier access to digital skills for people hardest hit by job losses, including those with lower incomes, women, and underrepresented minorities. The company will combine resources from LinkedIn, GitHub, and Microsoft to provide Microsoft certifications along with $20 million in cash grants to help nonprofit organizations. LinkedIn Learning Paths will be available for multiple roles throughout March 2021. Software developer, sales representative, IT admin, data analyst, financial analyst, graphic designers, and project managers. Also, they said that online delivery is not the only answer, it is the content too. Therefore, Coursera announced another $130 million in funding, and they're now valued at about $2.5 billion. Coursera today offers about 4,500 multiple online learning courses with 160 university partners, signaling that you don't need to handle going to Harvard to actually get a higher education. It is a longer term plan for virtual learning. To be blunt, university degrees are only as valuable as the weight applied by company hiring managers. And Google just signaled that their $300 certificate has a parity with a diploma. Technology alone is not the only savior. Focusing on the tools or pedagogy that the authors miss the workforce relevance or the course content. Higher education has had a challenge adapting curriculum with speed and agility, meeting the needs of students and employers. So college admissions have been on a downward spiral. As early as college enrollment has been down 20% for colleges this fall. The pandemic only made Harvard even worse off with a $415 million revenue, anticipating lower revenues in the future. I think, guys, that we are seeing that higher education is in a downtrend, just like what offline and online learning is. So I'm discussing the OMO trends. There's a secular wave happening, and I'm going to discuss some of these higher education platforms for you. Actually, I have been seeing the trend for, especially for technology, for being an upskill work platform. And so I actually said that for people who have lost their jobs, other than Fiverr and Upwork, which are just freelance plays, the outperformers, in my view, in the next 5 to 10 years would be around the companies that will offer courses that would make upgrades of your skills. And honestly, there's I checked out some companies. Pluralsight was a company that I was thinking that was gonna benefit on that future trend, but I sold my Pluralsight at about 1920 here, around late August, as well as all my other online learning companies. I sold some Yotao at about $30. Bought it at 26, sold it easily at 29 and 30. I'm gonna share those things to you. But Yotao is different, right? Because Yotao is doing like English, Chinese speaking Mandarin. So Mandarin speakers to learn English. So it's a bit different. That's language classes. Pluralsight is more on tech classes. But my reasons for selling them was because Google, in my view, was a huge competition, especially for Pluralsight. Actually, when Google said that a person doesn't need college anymore, what was the first thing that was in my mind was actually how Ateneo and LaSalle would change their revenue streams going forward. Of course, because I'm a Filipino, I think about Philippine colleges. I think about whether my children in the future, maybe 10 or 15 years or 17 years from now, or 20 years from now, would still need an education in Ateneo or LaSalle. So I'm just thinking more, maybe I'm thinking to secular first. But I do believe that parents today, if you have a child, if that child wants to work in IT industry, I do think that while a college education is great, I want you to know that there are several alternatives. After they finish high school, they can actually study courses online, become a cybersecurity expert, become an expert in passions that they love. And therefore, I just wanted to share that in a way, my education play, although I didn't buy Google specifically for that Google certificate course, because I know it's not a revenue generating thing for Google, I do believe that what Google is doing and what Microsoft is doing is something that would help the world in the long run. I know that there will be just very few that they'll hire, but it also tells you that if you have a child, you don't necessarily have to spend for $40,000-$50,000 tuition courses, which are really so expensive, and you're not even sure if your child will get a return on investment with that diploma. So I'm just saying that, especially for IT related courses, Google and Microsoft are willing. You just pay a very small fee. Pluralsight is about $700 to $800 a year. So there's really a lot of courses, especially for the IT sector. So if you want to study Ruby on Rails, Python language, there's a lot of universities out there. And I'm pretty sure that it's about the hands-on programming content. It's not about whether you graduated in La Salle or Ateneo. I doubt that those things even matter. Especially in that career, it doesn't even matter. Okay, so I'm going to share to you, aside from that, I wanted to share that today, Asian shares have been rebounding on strong Chinese data. So actually last Friday, yes, the US market was very much down. And I was sharing to people that last Friday I was buying a lot of companies. And this week and next week, no matter if the market falls, I continue to help people invest their money in companies that I believe would outperform. So in fact, actually today I'm gonna share to you that our one of our Chinese Tesla killers, which is Geely Auto, actually rose 10% today. So this is Geely Auto 175HK. We have been opining. So our opinion for the last few months was that $14, $15, even at $16, that nobody has to sell, because we said that no, it's just an accumulation method, and you want to buy in even if you bought at 16 and you want to hold on to it. So far we were correct. So take note that this went from 12 to 19, consolidated for over 7 to 10. So that means about 3 months. After the consolidation, it's now gone from 15 to $18. Some of us actually bought some Geely Auto today, even if we already have that position. And then for those who aren't in the know, Geely Auto, in my view, goes about $24 to $28. Just like my view when 1211 was something that we shared last June. So we were buying this 1211, a part of our Chinese electric vehicles, here at about $48. So that was June. Even at 58, I said to others that it wasn't late, that they can add, and even as late as about 70. So these were our buys. 48, 58, 68, some or 70 was fine. Some of us were even super bullish that they even bought here at the breakout of 88.90. That was the highest price that I was willing to buy BYD. So some of us sold already at 110. So right now, some of us just were able to hold the gravy. So this is actually more than 300% already from our initial price of 48. Now it's 167. That's about from June till November, or about 5 months, 300% move. Those are the kinds of things that Awesome 10X actually helps identify for people, whether I share it here for free or share to actually in the inner circle. But inside our inner circle, guys, inside the Awesome 10X, we have been bullish on electric vehicles as a sector. And it wasn't just your Tesla. Yes, some of us were also bullish on Tesla as early as $300. That went 8x because Tesla went to 2.4 prior to stock split, right? So also, let me just share about these phenomenon of electric vehicles in general. So in my view, like Tesla today, even if it drops here at about 375 or 330, I have kept my buy ratings. I have kept it knowing that 430, 440 there was selling. So we were giving advices to people that as early as 430 above, that they could sell their Teslas with the admonition that should it fall from about 420 all the way to 330, that they should be buying it back. Meaning none of these earlier costs, let's say your cost was below $300, was to be sold. It was to be held. Now, electric vehicles as a sector, as you can see, I'm going to be honest that I didn't advise to buy NIO at $2. So I saw that there was a bottom here at about $2 because Tencent had given money to this bankrupt company. And actually from 2 it went to 5, and then back to about $2 during the pandemic, and I never got in, even if I knew that Tencent was already buying it at $2. And then, of course, I knew that Tencent was also buying here at about $12 to $13. This was another Tencent buying in, and now it's at about 30. So given all the knowledge that I have with NIO, sometimes too much knowledge on the fact that it was bankrupt failed me because, of course, I knew that electric vehicle as a secular trend was going to go 2x, 3x, 4x. I never understood that NIO, of course, it's my fault, 2 goes $30. I missed a 15x move. Nonetheless, I'm going to share to you that I didn't miss all these electric vehicle trends. And I think that this is a company that those people who have no Chinese vehicles should be taking into attention. So this one, I've been willing to buy at 21 all the way to 18 and buying more at 21. Today, it's trading at 1938. Even at 1938, if you don't have a position, I think that you want to accumulate this between 18 to 21. So I'll be willing to buy more at 18 of Xiaopeng. XPEV is a $15 billion Chinese vehicle that is backed by Alibaba. I have it an inner circle pick. It coincides with all the Chinese vehicles that I like. 1211, I've been buying that. and we have been proven right. 175, we have been advocating to buy that. Today, we've been proven right. Maybe in the next 6 months, we will be proven right 50 to 100% higher. Take note that our Chinese picks, such as 1337, Razer, which we gave as a buy reco at 138 as a free Friday class pick, some of us even added at 150 to 160, is still now holding it. Meaning at $2.29, I wouldn't buy there, but I wouldn't sell it there. So I'm really good in identifying stocks that I would prefer to buy and hold. And I'm just saying to you that the market can do anything, but our stock picks will outperform. That's the thing about Awesome 10X. Our picks are actually strong outperformers. I'm going to share to you some Japanese picks that we've got. I'm going to share to you that in Japan, I have been buying some Japanese video games. And Akatsuki was something that we identified at 4,100 here, at about 4,000 yen. It's now trading at 5,000. Unfortunately, I personally thought that it was a bit slow, so I sold it at about 4,1, not because of fundamentals. I just needed the money, so I sold my Akatsuki. I told people I bought it at 4,000, I'm out at 4,1, not because I don't like Akatsuki. Actually, Akatsuki benefits on two things. I know that Akatsuki makes those Dragon Ball Z games with and anime games with Bandai Namco. I also know that Akatsuki was partnered with Netflix on all those anime subtitles that you see in Netflix today. So there's a reason why I pick companies to outperform. But I wanted you to know that actually in Japan, most of my Japanese picks were also outperforming. Of course, Bandai Namco, who's not gonna, like you've got the Tori and everything, right? So at about 5.6, it's now trading at 7.8 yen. Of course, SoftBank, for those who aren't aware, 9,984. I have been buying SoftBank for quite a while. Every dip that it makes, I will be willing to buy it because I'm really willing to buy and hold SoftBank. I gave this actually as a free Friday class pick, but I've been investing in this name ever since last year. Actually, ever since last year. Heard about 4,000. Can't remember because I sold at 5.6. I think I bought somewhere at about 2019. I bought 2019 at about 4,000 yen. I sold it at about 5.6 yen. Yeah, I remember this was the time I sold. This was the WeWork scandal. I didn't get back in at about 4.4. Went to 5.6. During pandemic, it fell to 2.8. Right now, it's at 6.8. I bought back again at about 5.9 already. Because that time, even if I saw the buy areas for SoftBank, I didn't have money. I didn't have some Japanese yen in my portfolio. I had a lot of US companies in my portfolio. That's why I wasn't able to buy SoftBank as early as about 4.8 during June. I was prioritizing a lot of US companies then. But around the late August, yeah, I remember, July, I've been supporting SoftBank here. And every drop of SoftBank below 6,000, I was willing to buy. Actually, for SoftBank Group, this one is a company that I've just had more conviction to buy more if it drops near 6,000 yen again, or even at 6.1, 6.2, because I do see a clear winner with SoftBank's picks. SoftBank has ownerships of NVIDIA, of ARM Holdings, even if they sold a bit of their NVIDIA and ARM. The recent presentation of SoftBank on their artificial intelligence, actually artificial intelligence private equity buys, made me very bullish about the fact that SoftBank is in the center and heart of many 10x trends, not just actually about their Grab or TikTok stakes. It's not just about that. There's so many reasons to own 9984. And actually, sometimes an obvious 3x winner for me is SoftBank. So this one is a company that no matter if the market will drop or bleed, I will keep on publishing buys for SoftBank. So this one is a company that I already own, but on any 5 to 10% drop in the next month, let's say November, it goes near 6.1, I might be buying more SoftBank. So I have no sells. Like I really don't have plans of buying 6,000, selling 7,000, assuming that I can get back in at 6.1. That's not how I do my investing. I buy it and then I don't really sell it. I just really keep it. If I sell it, it means that there's a reason why I'm selling it. And usually my selling reasons have something to do with fundamentals. It wouldn't be because, oh, the chart is resistance and so forth. No, that's not it. Similarly, for Tencent, I wanted to show to you that Tencent is trading at about $600. I still keep it. So actually, I've been investing here since 330 here. Last year, July 2019. I have it with a family portfolio. We've bought this. And then recently, during the drop at about 350 to 360, we kept on saying to buy again. And even at 430 and even as high as 480 and 500, we were still buying. So this one, in my view, is just really a strong winner and the largest video game conglomerate in the world. And so I will never sell a company which I believe will go 700, 800, 900 Hong Kong. So on any dips in the month, let's say Tencent goes anywhere from about five. Actually, this level, I wouldn't sell, I wouldn't buy, but I'm just really just holding on. I'm just showing to you that the market is saying that I hear people talk in the headlines or on Twitter that the market is falling, the market is falling. I'm here to share to you that no, that's not the truth. Awesome 10X is sharing to you that there are so many 10X opportunities and you should actually be on the lookout to see strength and winners. And Awesome 10X is here to actually share to you companies that I'm buying. Whether you want to study it for yourself, you can. I'm going to share to you a company example. This is in Warsaw, Poland, CDProjekt. So CDProjekt last Friday fell to about 335. I think that this is a buying opportunity. So I bought last Friday here at about 335. It doesn't mean that it's gonna stop. It can even bleed as low as 300 tonight. But I do think that about 360 to 300, that these are already buying opportunities. And so I will keep a highlight to buy this. This is, of course, in Warsaw, Poland. And in interactive brokers, guys, we can borrow for just 1.59% in USD a year. So I really don't mind borrowing money in interactive brokers and actually positioning in more companies that I love. So CDProjekt at about 360 all the way to 300, even at today's price of 335, I'm already willing to buy there. So why did it drop from as high as 450? This is the blue chip company of Poland, but it's actually a global video conglomerate. For those who aren't aware, CDProjekt is the owner of the Witcher series, but also Cyberpunk 2077. So Cyberpunk 2077 got delayed to about December, and some of their fans were actually sad about it. Everspace to delay because Cyberpunk 2077 new release date. So let me just read to you. The new Cyberpunk 2077 delay benefits one game more than the others. So it benefits other companies. It caused CD Projekt Red stocks to drop. There's a lot of controversy, but in my view, I will use this controversy to buy a company that I like. For those who aren't aware, CD Projekt is a 100x winner in the last 7 years. So if you take a look at this company in the last 7 years, go to the monthly. CDProjekt, even if you bought this at 2016, that was 30, it went 10x in 5 years time or 4 years time from about 40 to 440. And if you were so early, if you bought it about $4, you'd have 100x your money, meaning your $1,000 is going to be $100,000 after 8 years. And that's what Awesome 10x is for. In Awesome 10X, we don't look for about 10% gains. I always tell you that. We don't. We actually look for companies that will do 10X moves. So actually in Poland, I'm going to share to you that this is a company I'll share to you for free that Bloober and Creepy Jar are actually Awesome 10X picks. You can actually learn more about these companies. I've already covered them inside the inner circle. So take a look at awesome10x.com. You will find these companies that I believe are 10X moves. And today, the drop of Bloober, after rallying from $40 to as high as $230, this $140 is actually a buy reco for me. Bloober, for those who aren't aware, is actually partnered with Oculus Quest VR, famous for their Layers of Fear virtual reality. I'm going to share to you Bloober, Layers of Fear VR Oculus. For those who aren't aware, Oculus Quest, of course, is a Facebook entity. They own it. Layers of Fear porting a horror classic to Oculus Quest. Scare yourself out the house with Layers of Fear VR by Incovo for the Oculus Quest. So Bloober team, there to paint a true masterpiece. Bloober is actually one of the best companies when it comes to horror genre. You can study it more, but really, the crux of my reasons to buy Bloober has to do with Oculus Quest and has to do with their game genre, which in my view is quite undervalued so far. They have games like The Medium. They have games like The Observer. They've got games like Layers of Fear. Aside from so many games, but those are really the ones that I'm interested with. Green Hell as well for Creepy Jar is the reason why I want to buy Creepy Jar. So Green Hell is to me one of the games that Creepy Jar has a solid hit. For those who aren't aware, these are small companies in Poland, but I believe that after rallying from 138 to 1,400, it's a 10x move after 3 months. This drop in the last 4 months is an entry opportunity for me. So Creepy Jar, I've been studying this company. This drop is in my view a buy. So I've been waiting for this company to fall. Actually, I've been waiting to go as low as 764, but it never fell that low. So actually, in current level of 970, I'm willing to buy some Creepy Jar. There's a Polish company, a video game developer. So Creepy Jar does a lot of survival games. But more importantly, you can study all of it inside their own website. Investor relations, what's happening to their updates. For Creepy Jar, my very what I really like about it is the company's actually a developer that's not really startup. When you take a look at the people who are in the game, they actually have so much billions of revenues. So take a look about this company. Poland is actually one of the best countries in the realm of the world's best gaming studios. So those who made The Witcher 3, Dying Light, and Frostpunk, that's all Polish games. So I really believe that I'll make about 50x or 10x moves in these Polish companies. And that's why I'm willing to share to you. I have a more in-depth coverage on them, but you have to go to awesome10x.com to see my coverage on these names. Let me now check your commentaries. Any thoughts on TUP? Is TUP Tupperware? I haven't studied Tupperware. So I'm sorry, I didn't study it. So chances are it wasn't in my 10x secular trend. So the answer is I have zero thoughts on it. I don't know if it's a buy. I don't know if it's a sell. I never studied it. Hi, Nikki. What do you think of Marvel? Marvel is in the 5G trend. I'm sorry, I still haven't studied Marvel. Um, I haven't studied Marvel technology. It is a semiconductor. It's in the realm of 5G. That's all I know about it. But sorry, no idea. I haven't studied the companies that you're asking. How about Nano Dimension and Rewalk? Nano Dimension and Rewalk, in my view, are very small companies. So they are my nano cap picks. I do think that Nano Dimension will win in the next 5 to 10 years. So I have a small position on both of them. It doesn't occupy a huge percentage in my portfolio because I don't have high conviction on both of them. Nonetheless, the current levels are very low. So in my view, like Nano Dimension, if it drops, like if the market drops, I do think that I have a chance to get Nano Dimension at about $2.25 again. So I bought it at about $2.25. I sold it at about $4 above, so it went as high as 6. I got back in at about $3.15, but I still hold that $2.25, meaning I bought this, I sold some here. In Nano Dimension, I could predict that it could still fall at about $2.50, maybe on my first entry cost, but I don't think I can get it below $2. So honestly speaking, I believe that Nano Dimension, this company is a company that's more very nano cap. As you could see, market cap is too small. I think I'll make about 10x, but I have to buy $2, the $2 to $3. Um, I think that I won't make a ton of money because at the end of the day, Nano Dimension is about 3D printing, right? So I am not too bullish about the trends because I know that none of them are making money, but neither am I set. But neither am I a bear. Meaning I have it, but I'm not like super duper. I'm not like super duper confident. Like I have it. That's all I have. Rewalk. I have it, so I've been buying at about 120. It's not doing 109. It's okay with me. I think that this one is actually a company that will go to about $2 to $5 eventually. So yeah, they are both Rewalk and Nano Dimension are both Israeli companies. I like the founders. So for those who aren't aware, I covered some Nano Dimension for free here. Rewalk I never shared to the YouTubers. Rewalk was something that I covered inside the inner circle. You need to understand inside the inner circle. I do a lot of coverages like every day, right? So you can understand what you can study it, but Rewalk in my view is I'd make money on it. Like I buy it at the dollar or $1.10. I'll wait on it. I think it's gonna go $2 to $3 eventually. Eric Gulch is asking, would you buy Capcom as a video game player? I actually tried to study Capcom, but I didn't invest on Capcom. So I think like Capcom has a ton of video game releases this year. I wasn't able to buy early. So yeah, I was thinking about it about 2.8 actually. It's now 5.6. I think I'm late to buy it. But yeah, so I just think I'm late. I didn't study it as early as I should. So I haven't updated myself on what's up with Capcom right now. So yeah, so I can't answer something that I don't know much. I can't give an answer. I'm trying to Eric is asking, I'm trying to pick up 3 stocks to put in my retirement account with a lot of growth potential. What do you think are the ones with more chances to reach about 10x profits in the next 10 years? Me personally, I'll tell you what. You might laugh at me, but I have about 40 stocks. 30 to 40 stocks is how I recommend to people with the goal also of 10x moves. I have some names that I know, some names would just be 1x or 2x, but at the same time, I do think that I have picked some choices that would do about 10x, not just even 10 years. Like I think some of them will go 10 or 20x in 10 years. So um, I have, for instance, so I bought early on some C Limited very early at about $45. It's now trading at about $160. Um, but I think that one goes about $300 to $500 in the next couple of years. Although you won't make 10x already if you buy it at 130, I do think that yeah, you'll make about 3x. For really 10x moves, I think some SPACs I chose would actually 10x. I could be wrong, but so I do own a lot of SPACs. Like some SPACs like SBE is trading at about $13 today, which I think I'll make about $100. So this one is a charge point. So yeah, so I think that I'm correct here. I just need to wait it out. So if it goes down to about 12 or 11, I think that is just a chance to buy more. I also am bullish on Look, biodegradable plastics. I got it at about 10:30. It's now $11. I think like some of my picks are really superstar companies that I wouldn't sell it. Example, Pintuato. I've got in at about $20. I'm up at about right now, Pintuato is trading at $99, $90. I got back in at about $70 and $80. I think although I know that there will be sellers here at about 99 or 110, I wouldn't sell it. So I think it's gonna go $200 someday. Maybe not at 10x already because you're only asking me now after a 400 to 500% run. But yeah, so like example, Unity, I have it at about 67. I averaged up on Unity. I think like if you buy it at 95, you might not make a 10x. It could even go 85, but I think you can make a decent 3 to 5x. So Henry is asking, what is the buying price with Palantir and Unity? I've been averaging up. So my average cost is right now at about $85 something on Unity because I averaged up at 95 and 100. I've been buying at 67, 70, 77, 85. But this one, if you can enter more shares at $85 or even at $88, I think that I'll just add more into it. I think Unity makes so much money. Well, right now it's not yet profitable. But I think like Unity and Palantir has a 10x move in the next 5 to 10 years. So yeah, that's one of my 10x picks. Gary is asking, is Google still a buy? Google, I think I'll make 1x. So like Google, I have it at about, well, the thing about Google is that this was actually a memorable company for me because 5 years ago, I've bought Google just really because I just told my family that dad, I want to have some Google and then just invest in it. It's very small during that time. Like I bought it just because I wanted the Facebooks, the Googles. I wasn't really studying it as in depth as I do today. And because I've made like 100% and more on it, that's what prompted me to study more US and actually devote most of my time in US. So yeah, so I remember that time, yeah, it was about $600. Yeah, below 600 we've been investing. Right now, I think that it's gonna go to $5,000 to $3,000, assuming that you buy it at 1.5. I think that you'll just do 1x. One x is fine. 100% in about 5 years for Google. You won't make 10x. I'll be honest. I don't see Google hitting $10,000 anytime soon. I could be wrong. But yeah, even if I'm bullish on YouTube and all the advertising and Waymo and Google acquisitions, wearables, I don't think it's a 10x. It's just a 1x in my view. So Gary is asking, you think Google is still a 10x company? At current level, I think like it's just a 1x. Honestly speaking, I don't think you can make a 10x move if you're buying a Facebook and Google. You should be happy to make about 1x to 3x in the next 5 years or so. So like my 10x ideas are not like your Googles and Facebooks. I have Google, I have Facebook, but I don't have, in my view, I don't have like a 10x thinking on them. Yeah, like I wouldn't think that it will 10x versus say a Unity. Like between Unity and Google, I'd rather believe that Unity will go $500 rather than Facebook and Google going 10x. So that's really how I think. Okay, so it's a 36 minutes already. So yeah, so you've heard me talk about some electric vehicles. You've heard me tell about video games on Poland. So I hope that you learned something. Do subscribe to the channel. Please like the button. Awesome 10x is also go here, awesome10x.com. I will show to you companies that are interesting to me inside our inner circle. Our goal really is to help you invest, whether it's $1,000 or just $250. Actually, you can invest globally, even if it's just $100. So you can open an account on Interactive Brokers. I'm not an affiliate of Interactive Brokers, but I believe that Interactive Brokers is the cheapest. I checked all the brokerage firms. Like I could open in Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade. All of them are more expensive and they have higher margin rates. So like I think like I already chose the best brokerage firm, and the answer is Interactive Brokers. So I even checked eToro. So a lot of my SPACs that I like are not listed in eToro. So I don't like to have eToro account because some of the companies I like are not listed there. So how can I 10x if they don't have, say, example, they don't have LOAK, they don't have LOC. So like how could I 10x if they don't have it? So yun. So in a way, that's really how I think. Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.